Tier lists. The YouTuber's favorite way of getting their often mediocre opinions across to, not the silver screen, the red screen in this case, red tube. Of course, I always say everybody has opinions, but not all of them are right. And you can let me know in the comments section what you think. We went ahead a ton of time. Probably took me like 6-7 hours to construct this, so I'd really appreciate. Leave a like if you guys do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And of course, let me know some favorites that you guys have here. Some budget beasts and just who you're really enjoying using in DD currently. That being said, let's go ahead and look at our first position, catchers. Here we come. So again, S tier is as follows. This is the best of the best. I think that is the best option for that position. Tier 1. Tier 1 is usually just a shade below. Very good options. Tier 2, probably where, you know, a lot of people might find themselves, more of the budget kind of players. Tier 3, you know, starting to falter off, like, you know, they're options. They're certainly not one of the best that you could be using. And then penny pinchers. Last time we had golds. I would hope if you've been playing for 2 months, your team is all diamonds at this point, I'm assuming. So starting off with catchers, your cap. I think that's the best place to put it. There's a ton of catchers that I think just aren't going to be too great. Ivan Rodriguez, year in and year out. Johnny Bench. They were great in real life. They just don't really correlate to the game. And yes, there's going to be a Mauer there, of course, which isn't there for now. Right now, your cap reigns supreme. Mauer's great. Henry Davis is creeping up. I think Henry Davis is the best of the new future star catchers, and that's going to be something interesting to look at. All these new cards, I put them at 13K here. When you see an asterisk, that is what I think the price is going to come down to. Henry Davis is already 13K. The rest of those, I think, will get down to there, and it's going to be interesting to see where all the future stars fall. So then Campisano, Corey Lee, Joey Bart, and then Shane Langeliers, or however you pronounce it. Once again, ace catcher is not good. Shocker. In Tier 2, Posada's still great. Adley at 45K. The new Kyle Former is such a good catcher. Gary Carter is just 260. Again, you can see the price, the value reflective of every card here. 0 means that they are free. And of course, red lettering means probably not worth it for how good the card is, which makes sense when it's seeing on Gary Carter. Then there's the Taylor Ward. You see right here, a lot of cool new free cards that dropped, but all of them have their niche. You know, the Garver and Gary Sanchez are immune to hitting against right-handers, so something to consider. First baseman. Interesting stuff. I still have Frank Thomas and Carlos Delgado at both housing S tier. I think they have their own thing. I think Delgado's swing is better, and he's a lefty, but Frank Thomas overall has the better attributes. I do think David Ortiz is essentially Carlos Delgado light. There's no reason to pick up Delgado if Ortiz drops down to 18K. Then there's the Michael Toglia, the lone switch hitter of the new set. Josh Bell. Still, if you had him as your first baseman, that is not a bad option at all. You see the new Pete Alonso and Nick Prado over there at Tier 2. I don't think they're too crazy, but there's a lot of first basemen. Shocker, right? Nobody's been bitching about the number of first basemen eligible in the game right here. Goldschmidt. Again, you'll see a couple times where I'm going to put cards where I think he's going to go 90 plus, so I think he's going to be really good. He deserves a big versus righties boost, and again, ton of righties to use right there. Let's move on to second base. This was shocking. Justin Foscue for the Rangers in the new Team Affinity is actually fucking insane. I mean, if you look at him compared to Chase Utley, it's like -10 fielding, 15 speed, and then you just swap the contact for the power, but Foscue still has like 90 contact aside. So he is insane for 13K. It is frankly illegal for them to, you know, be selling at such a cheap price. That looks like money laundering to the simple man. Ketel Marte, I still think is better than any of the future stars that did get dropped. I think he's so good. Mookie is nice too. The Jake Berger from Tops Now, very interesting. And then a couple more that you guys will see right here. You know, not bad options. The new Keston Hira is somewhat solid, the L2. Not a big fan of small targets. Hobbits, I find them hard to hit with. George Brett, 2 mil, and then Rafael Devers, 0. He's free in the new POTM. There is a difference. Brett has plus 10 contact per side. He is about plus 10 power against lefties. But Devers is a very, very similar card to George Brett for minus 2 million stubs. Brett Beatty is great. Unfortunately, he's going to get undershadowed by these two fucking monsters getting released back-to-back weeks. Then there's the Pujols, who is still kicking, Orelvis Martinez. The Mike Schmidt, do not sleep on him. He's essentially the Troy Gloss, although for nearly free. You don't need to spend Mike Trout. And something you'll learn, there's so many lefty pitchers in the game right now. Once we get to the starting pitcher slot, so many meta lefties are currently just roaming the ranked season streets, ready to pick your pockets and strike you out. Well, to make you foul tip, more accurate. But Mike Schmidt, not a bad card there. Jose Ramirez, unfortunately, has just got too many contact versus lefty downgrades and power versus lefties too, where it's a little bit harder to use him. But otherwise, a couple decent, solid options right there. And again, Team Affinity or the Future Stars is great for allowing so many budget cards. I gave it to Oswald Peraza here for the Yankees as the best shortstop. I think he's just got it all the most balanced. And honestly, Leover Peguero, I believe is how you pronounce it. Surely I didn't get it wrong. Is probably the second best. He's actually really good because he fits alongside the entire meta of everybody's apparently going to be a 19 defensive runs saved a year kind of guy and going to steal 40 bags. Apparently that's all the Future Star cards. They all, rival Usain Bolt in speed. But there's so many great options here. This is how I would rank them. Michael Young is still okay, but there's really no point to use him. Highlight the new Correa and the new Jorge Polanco. 18 and 11K, both very good. The Polanco, I probably would have put him and Marcus Semien at second base. Again, you'll notice some of these are not in their primary positions. I put everywhere where I think they should play, but I would probably have Polanco and Semien at second base if I were to do this again. I just kind of forgot about it. Again, Tatis, he just can't pick up the ball, man. He is like 60 fielding or whatever. Somebody in chat told me to use him. He was so goddamn bad. I could not do it. So he's tier 3. Unfortunately, a lot of great cards here are just undervalued because, they dropped a litter. They dropped a trough of shortstops on our front door here. Babe Ruth, putting him at S tier alongside Roberto Clemente. Again, you'll see the valuations here. I have Babe at a yellow value. So he could be cheaper once Greg Maddux works down about, 50K or so. He's going to be a lot more obtainable. And then Clemente, his time is nearing an end. Castellanos, I love that card for 50K. Fielding is optional sometimes. Reggie Jackson, pretty good, just doesn't blow you away. Two new Future Stars. You have Hendrick and Valera, both pretty decent. Kirk Gibson. I think this Jim Edmonds is still so undervalued. The Ralph Kiner is actually pretty damn good. Just a marvel of hitting, and put him in a short left field, he'll do okay. Christian Yelich, the new Jim Rice, just has an awful swing. I do want to highlight Aaron Judge right here. He's going to go up in overall, but he's going to go down against lefties. It's going to drop into the 60s, which you're left with a 6'8" right-handed batter that cannot hit against lefties. So a platoon on righty-righty, as if that's ever been a thing. Then you have a lot of options here. This is, of course, both left and right field who I'd recommend to play there. A lot of guys. Tony Gwynn at 215K. He's actually a good card, just not for 215. And then a ton of free ones, as you see with the new drop of the Team Affinity. Center field, Mike Trout is still top, but he might go down. They twice downgraded him when he had the best OPS in baseball. Imagine what they're going to do when, what was he, 0 for 23? He might go silver. So I'm fearing for the worst. Austin Martin, I think, is so good. Yoelqui Cespedes shouldn't be. Yoelqui Cespedes is great too. I don't know why he's yellow value. My bad. Acuna, 250K. It's just not good value. Again, that just ruins a lot of these live series cards once we get to this point with Team Affinity. But a lot of new cards here. The Lowe, Garrett Mitchell, Pete Crow Armstrong, Michael Harris. I don't think they're all that great. You do have the Mickey Mantle, who I still think is a very viable option right there. A couple more decent ones. Center field is pretty easy to fill out right now. Here's the pitchers. So, in my eyes, the best 5 are Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine, Bobby Miller, Dallas, and Mike Mussina. Again, I cannot say his last name in fear of getting demonetized, so we'll just know him as DK from now on, Donkey Kong. I think these are the best 5, and I think everybody but Mussina, well, maybe Dallas could be on the out soon, but it's pretty debatable once you get to the 4-5, but I think these top 3 are locks. This Matt Brash is essentially a righty Randy Johnson. I'm looking forward to using him. The new Greg Maddux seems pretty decent. Shohei might get a downgrade coming up soon, which is part of the reason why he's not such good value and not as higher up. The Corbin Burns still great. The Jared Weaver, very underrated. Halladay was S tier last time. He's just very easy to read. Unfortunately, his windup, he pulls no punches. His poker face needs some work. Maybe Lady Gaga can work on that for him. I don't know. Jackson Joby, pretty decent. You'll see a couple other future stars there. Get Gomer's big ass out of the way. Tons of pitchers. There's probably like 5 more that I wanted to put on here. They would not fit. There was no room. We were at maximum capacity. So here's my general rank of the pitchers. You'll notice like the new Robbie Ray, tier 3. Pitchers is where it gets fun because it's not just, oh, this guy's the highest overall. That usually means he's better. It's a lot different. You see DK at a 92 on the same tier as a 99 and 95 and 96 is. So it is pretty fun to rank pitchers, and it is very subjective. Moving on to righty relievers. I put Devin Williams back in S tier. I just used him more and faced against him more, and Christ, man, I don't like it. He is very good. Kenley's good too. The Hoffman, mixed feelings on him. You know, on paper he should be good, but probably doesn't quite perform up to there. But we're kind of in a short spot for relievers right now. There's not a ton of great ones. The new Brian Wilson I do not think is good at all. He probably should be end of tier 2. Clay Holmes at 18K, him and Ryan Helsley I think are both going to be pretty good options. Otherwise, the Nate Eovaldi is new. He got added in, and yeah, that's my synopsis of the righty relievers currently in the game. Let's round things up with the lefties. I still think Josh Hader is the top tier here, although that's not saying much. There's not a lot of great options. The Zach Britton has faults. So does Andrew Miller. So does Chapman. Nobody is really so far above as far as lefties go. I will say Aaron Loop as a silver card absolutely deserves tier 1 spot right here over a couple 90 overalls. Lefty Grove is actually pretty decent now that they changed his motion. Give him a shot for 7K. He's very good. Otherwise, couple decent ones here. You can easily fill out a bullpen. I recommend just carry 3 lefties is what you'll want to do. And what I was saying as far as the pitchers go, it's something to consider. You might want to start thinking about stacking a few more righties on your lineup because a lot of those top guys are seeming to be lefties right now. That's why I'd love to have Matt Brash be my left fielder, for example, but I just can't stack that many. At some point I have to say, enough, damn it. I have to quit cold turkey. I have to stop my fetish towards lefties and look towards the light. Leave a like down below. As always, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Let me know what you guys think as far as, you know, this tier list right here. Took a lot of time again, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So, hope you guys have a great rest of the day. There goes out. Yeet.